Good morning, everybody. Let's see.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Gregory. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, Alex.
Morning, Corey.
Good morning, buddy. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Mr. Brandon. Good morning, Mariana. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Let's see. Got some people jumping on here. Ooh, everybody at once. All right, let's see. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Siri.
Good morning.
Now, Siri, before you go back on mute, I'm just gonna clear up all this stuff. How do you say your name? We've been calling you Siri, all kinds of stuff.
Well, there's a long story with that, okay? My mother,
Right.
I don't know why, but it's Sari, but everybody has called me Sarah my whole life. And the reason why is because mom probably did not correct people. So I go Sarah.
What is it actually supposed to be? We will call you Sarah, or at least I will.
It's supposed to be Sari.
Okay, that's what we've been calling you. So
yes,
have to be cognizant of that. Siri or Sarah, you'll go by either. Okay, got it. We got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bilo, what's up, my man?
What's up?
Good morning, buddy. We need to catch up, man. All right, let's see. Who did I miss here? Got Mariana, we got that person let in. Let's see. Good morning, Kaylee. And good morning, Renee. I think everybody else I got.
The video off.
All right.
There we
So,
go.
all right. Before this thing starts acting weird, as it's getting ready to. Hey, if you guys don't mind, those of you that attended launch, I know there's several of you guys that did, and thank you guys for representing us there. If you got Tim, if you don't mind leading this, because I'm having a little bit of an issue, so I'm gonna have to sign out, sign back on, but this won't disrupt you guys. So Tim, if you don't mind starting and calling on, I think Kaylee was there, Brandon was there, your daughter was there. If you guys don't mind sharing a little bit about what happened at launch, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So anyhow, make sure that I am not okay. Good. I'm not on mute and I'm driving right now. So yeah, guys, the launch was great. What I'm going to do is just start out with, I know Kaylee at the spur of the moment jumped on an airplane and came over. So Kaylee, your thoughts, what you got most out about it, and just take it from there.
Yeah, okay. I had a really good time. I obviously was very, very nervous about going, not really getting started on anything, but I think that was probably one of the best things I could have done for myself. It really amped me up on what I'm going to get started on, and I think that it really helped me understand the concept of everything. Sorry, my son's in here watching videos. But I think it helped me wrap my head around everything. You know,
Amen.
that makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, the great thing about these events, guys, is they're free. A lot of other events that I've done in the past, they charge for them, and of course you got to pay to get there on the other events, and on top of that, you got to pay for it. So, and it's like Kaylee said, it's taking your expectations to the next level because you don't know what you don't know. But Kaylee, are you more excited now after you went compared to before?
Yeah, I really am. And I think I'm also more prepared, which is more, that's important to me. So for sure.
Amen to that. So Brandon, now that I said it right, you on? Is Brandon on this morning?
Yeah, I'm here. Just gotta figure out how to mute myself.
So yeah, hey man. So we talked with Brandon on and off the phone for I don't know, a couple months, 2 or 3 months now, but it was actually, dude, finally great to meet you and your Randy over Monday, whatever it was. It seems like it was the weekend. Yeah, man. So just share a little bit about what you saw, what you learned, anything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was freaking awesome. It was really cool. I really liked when, the preacher was there and how much everybody donated. I mean, that's what I love. I want to give back. That's why I'm doing this. I want to be able to give back. Yeah, and it was cool to see. It's real. Everybody was having a great time too. It was just a really cool experience, you know.
I don't know if we lost.
I was on for a second, but yeah, Ms. Grawl, are you there this morning?
I am. Hello.
That's tough to say. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, so your comments on the event.
It was freaking awesome. I'm just fired up every time I either go into an office or go to one of these events. It just reinstates everything of why I want to be with the FFL and why I want to do this and just kind of go all the way. I loved when the Pastor Matthew talked. Oh my gosh, that was freaking awesome. Kind of just touched on, you know, people are going to say things about this, but that's okay, because this is the greatest opportunity that, I mean, for me, I've ever had. So just keep grinding, keep going, and it's all going to pay off.
Well, amen to that. You know, the great thing about these events that I like personally is you get around people that you see posting stuff and, you know, getting around, you know, ate lunch with Hamadi and Hausberger and you know, I actually got to spend quite a bit of time with Edward. How do you pronounce his last name? Is it Menendez?
I think it's Mendez.
But he goes by ETE. But man, him and I talked for about 35 minutes at lunch, and just some of the things that they're doing, and why his numbers have stayed consistent up there so long. It's just, man, if that's all I got out of the event, just talking to ETE, man, it was worth it. But again, just gotta, you know, meet all the new faces. And again, Sean Mike was on point, but Pastor Matthew just nailed it. I mean, he really, really did. It was firedup.com.
That's awesome. Tim, thank you. And seems like it was worldwide that was all there representing, and guarantee you guys are going to have a spike because of it. And that's what we talk about, the events and stuff all the time. So I'm looking forward to the next one. Guys, if you haven't signed up for Miami, make sure you do. We post it all the time. It's February 2nd through the 5th. You guys will hear about that again on Friday, and we'll just continue to post it out there. Tim, thanks for moderating that. Appreciate that. Kaylee, Brandon, your wife, Randy, I think I'm missing somebody that was out there, but and I just appreciate Mariana. Appreciate all you guys going out there representing as well. It's kind of cool to see the pictures and everything flowing out there. For those of you guys that missed it, excuse me, it was recorded. I think I put session 1, 2, and 3 on Slack just in case you missed it. I think I watched first session 1 and 2. Very good information, good content of people out there that are absolutely killing it. And Tim's absolutely correct. Most of our competitors that have these events, they either charge you up front or they figure out some way to charge you later on back with commissions and all that other stuff. And the fact that these events are free and they're world-class events, the way they put these things on, you know, the next event coming up wherever they're at, if I see anything on Facebook, there was one, and I think coming up in either Houston or Dallas, I posted, if you're in the area, just go. You're going to be, the stuff that you're going to pick up, as Kaylee mentioned, it kind of solidified things for her, just like having these meetings. I know we have these week in and week out, but I still get, which is okay. I still get questions about certain parts of it. Iron sharpens iron. We have 16 people on a recruiting and onboarding call. That should show you the direction we're going. I mean, that's pretty incredible, because at one point there was just me, Amy, and maybe 2 other people on here, and then maybe leadership and all that kind of stuff. So Mark, by the way, I think I missed telling you good morning, and good morning, Taylor. Good to see you on, man. So we'll go ahead and get this thing. Thanks again, Tim. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys worldwide for representing us well. And it looks like our boy Brandon Kitchen won that silly little car thing too.
Yeah, that's
pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna call him sometime here in the next couple days. It's gotta be cool. I'd have put that thing right on eBay.
Yeah.
Was it $36,000 it's worth or something like that?
What's that?
That thing's like worth 36 grand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that. I mean,
yeah.
they had it up there on stage, and I'm like,
yeah,
you can. I'd sell that sucker in a heartbeat. I get somebody a fucking deal on that.
Not my thing. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, guys. All right, guys. So we'll go ahead and move through the process. I want to start doing something a little bit different as we go through these, because I feel like sometimes I say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and sometimes it gets a little stale, and I get that. So as we go through, sometimes I'll ask questions, but I also want to be respectful of you guys' time and get through this as quickly as we can. So Amy, as usual, I'll call on you just kind of periodically. You know, you can always cut me off, but before I get started, anything that you wanted to mention before we get started, if they're getting better on some things or things we need to clean up, etc.
I'd say we're getting better on adding things to HCMS and just knowing the process of how things work. I mean, it's repeated multiple times, multiple platforms, and I think you guys are listening and doing what you need to do, and less things that I have to reject or back out on my end. So just keep adding your numbers to HCMS and make sure you always reach out to me with contracting questions. That's it.
Thank you, Amy. Much appreciated. As you guys are bringing your people on, again, this document is emailed out to them. What are my notes there? Sorry. This document is emailed out to them. If you need to see this again, just Slack. Amy and I will send it out to you. What's happening is I think it's getting a lot better, as Amy mentioned, but we have people that aren't reading. I think they see it and go, I'm not reading through all that. And then they skip steps. And I know Amy knows how I onboard anybody that's coming on direct to me. I walk through those steps with them and everything else, and they still go in and do exactly what they want to do. So just makes the process that much harder.
And that is licensed agents. Once they get licensed, they get that document. So
thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Cut me off anytime. So as Amy mentioned just a second ago, putting your carriers into HCMS, the ones that Amy has to put in that you have to send your agent code to. Now, I'm not saying this for everybody to start blasting Amy and home office saying, I want these carriers, I want these carriers. When you get these carriers, CFG, Royal Neighbors, Liberty Bankers, UHL, which is United Home Life, I believe, and Gerber. Those are the carriers that you'll have to send Amy your agent code. She'll enter it into HCMS for you. The rest of them you can do on your own. Amy, did I miss any that you have to enter in?
No, I mean, there's always random one-offs, but just if you have an issue entering one of your writing numbers into HCMS, just reach out to me and I'll let you know if it's one that I have to do or if it's one that you have to do and you're just having issues.
Yeah.
That's probably the easiest way to sum that up. If you're trying to enter anything and you can't, then just let me know.
Yeah, we're here to support you guys, obviously alongside leadership as well. Thanks, Amy. So here's what we're going to cover today, just to keep things in a standard protocol, keep me on from rambling. The process, again, we'll cover the websites very quickly, the Genesis site where you'll go to onboard somebody, and then the recruiting site that you can send someone to if they're interested in coming on, commission levels. So I'll just go ahead and cover this now. So 10 to 15 to 20%. If you're buying somebody leads, 20% is kosher. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But anything outside of that, probably 25% is going to get to the point where it's going to get a little dicey. But you guys are building your own agencies. You do whatever you want. But that's what we support, is that 10, 15 to 20%. 10, 15, 20%. Now, when we say 20%, that means you're buying the agent leads, maybe their first couple sets of leads, but then after that, they're going to go through, kind of move up on their own. The second part of that is once, put a parameter in place. We usually say about their first 15,000 or so, because after that, their first 15 deals, 10 to 15 deals, they're probably not going to be calling you much anymore. So, you should definitely start to shift that commission or give them a pay increase, if you will, for knowing or getting themselves into the mix. So 10 to 20%, 10, 15, 20%, 20% if you're, buying them leads and doing all that kinds of stuff. We're going to cover prosperity, what you have to do to get your agent codes, if you will, or your codes generated. We'll do an example of that. Slack, we'll cover that. I think everybody on here pretty much has Slack down. So, and guys, I'm going to be paused for 2 seconds because I know we have these meetings and then we get off and then somebody will call and ask me a question. That's fine. But if you have the question, I guarantee you somebody else does. This is a sterile environment. Nobody's going to pick on you. That's why we're all here, right? I'm not telling you I got it all down because I don't. Amy keeps my feet on the ground. Otherwise I'd be floating around up in space somewhere. But if you have any questions, ask them here because somebody else probably has the same question. And this is a sterile environment. We're all here to get better. Iron sharpens iron. E&O, we'll show you where to find that at. So if you have new agents that come on, we had somebody that was having difficulty for whatever reason trying to get E&O in some other places. They used 360, went right through. So there's other places to get it, but that 360 seems like they're a little bit more liberal, just I'm sure because they're working with FFL. Boot camp, we'll show you where to find boot camp. If you haven't completed that, I recommend you do. And when you're bringing new teammates on, I highly recommend for your sake that you have them do boot camp, because they're going to be 50% further ahead, if not more, with their understanding of what it is that they're going to be doing here. AML, which I'm going to cover here in just a second. And then of course, we'll cover work spots. So leadership, or anyone, if you've had any experiences, we're going through these things that'll help each other, go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go work spots. Work spots is $99. It gives you access to any office that is attached to work spots across the country. For those of you guys that are down there with Mark in Southeast Missouri, Mark has now opened up an office. So that's a good thing. I know Renee's talking about doing that as well. And I know Amy Hillier has mentioned looking at an office as well. If you guys decide to open an office, just like I've said before you go and start blasting money at lead programs and all that other stuff in offices, just ask first before you go and spend money you don't need to spend, or put yourself in a spot and you think you're ready for work spots and you're not. So just be aware of that. We're here to help you through it. Now we've got two people, two of our teammates, myself and Mark, that have offices. So, use that knowledge that we've had going through the process to speed it up for yourself. $99 at our office gets you copies, snacks, water, coffee, tea, all that kind of stuff. So that's what WorkSpots is, plus the discounts. So I just rented a car through WorkSpots, and the discount through, and I'm a platinum or whatever, Renee, I can't remember what they call it, but platinum or premier, whatever level with Enterprise. Well, Enterprise and National is the same company now. The discount that Sean has gotten us through WorkSpots, the discount was more than actually what I paid. I paid $230 and the discount was $280 before insurance. So I should have posted this. With the insurance, if I would have rented the car just outright through National, would have been about $700, and I paid $232. So think about that. I mean, my membership, it was way paid for beforehand, but in all the discounts you get. All right, it's my plug for WorkSpots. AML, anti-money laundering. Keep in mind, when your new agents are coming on, they're going to have to go through Prosperity. Prosperity has videos. They'll finish the videos, and then that's good enough. They're good from there. WebCE, and I just had to do this with AIG. I haven't seen anybody yet that hasn't taken WebCE, and thank you, Amy, for that. It's anywhere between $9. We've seen it from $9 all the way up to about $15. So you'll know what to tell your new agents. But once they get their certificate from WebCE, then they can obviously just send it in, keep a copy of it, and send it in as needed. That's pretty much the only one that they'll need. I know AMM has a separate one, but seems like everybody's taking WebCE. Amy, anything you'd add to that? Perfect. $9 to $15. Super simple. I think Tim did it as well. I think that's what we talked about last week or week before. Guys, I just went through the stuff, didn't even read it. I really didn't even read any of the questions, and I got a 90. So it's not complicated. Let's see. Any questions so far? Perfect. All right. So let's go. Let me share my screen here really quick. Put a couple things up here. All right. So let's go to boot camp. So when you're new agents, kind of the typical protocol, once they start to go through the process and they've completed. Now I've had some of my people that I've brought on that said, "Hey, I'm gonna do the boot camp first, and then after I get the boot camp done, then I'm gonna go through and do the other part," which that makes no sense to me at all. So they should be going through and completing their licensing stuff. Again, I'm not gonna beat you guys up with it. You guys know how I feel about that. If it's more than 2 weeks, guys, pretty good chance they're not gonna come on board. Just because life happens and they have a bunch of other things that are going on. So give people 2 weeks, make sure you have that upfront contract with them so they know what's going on. And that way, if something does happen, you can shake hands professionally and move forward. I just had to do that over the weekend with somebody that's been, that's taken a while. But the boot camp really is going to walk someone really from the origin of purchasing a lead all the way through the completion of a sale. Okay. Again, as Tim mentioned, all of the training and stuff like that is free. And just wanted you guys to see this. So I guarantee you some of you guys on here probably didn't complete boot camp or have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. All right. Speaking of that, before I forget, in reference to onboarding, I know some things have changed with it. I know it was supposed to alleviate insurance pay. Amy, you're probably going to hit me for saying this, and anything you have to add to this, please do. But there's a, what they're calling, I guess it's going to be a mobile app for onboarding called Next Level. That's supposed to be coming out in December. For whatever reason, the admin has not been trained on it yet. And obviously we're only a few weeks away from December. Not sure 100%, we don't have all the details, But from what Amy found out earlier this week is we don't know if that's going to eliminate Insurance Bay yet, or if they're just adding this piece in there until they get ready to really fully have that process in place. Amy, anything that you know or that you would add about Next Level?
I would just say that if you hear anything about it, just kind of take it, like, as they say, with a grain of salt. FFL sometimes has a tendency to release things a little early than they're actually going to be used. So that's what we were told by Corp, that it was kind of a premature, I don't know, put out there prematurely, but what it's going to be is it's supposed to replace Insurance Bay. Phase 1 is coming out in December. I don't know what phase 1 is. We haven't really been told much about it other than it will eventually replace Insurance Bay. But for now, when it does come out, we will be using that along with Insurance Bay and HCMS. So I don't know a lot. I will let you guys know as I find out, though.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate that. So we just, as we're finding things out real time, we're going to pass that to you guys either on Friday or these meetings, so we can keep you guys abreast of what's going on and keep you guys ahead of the curve and try to make this process as smooth as possible. The smoother it is to get people onboarded, the faster it is going to be to get people onboarded. Because if each one of us recruits just one person a week minus Amy, I mean, that's 15 people a week. Last week, I think we had 10 people that were in the mix that we brought on. I've got 2 interviews today. So this is we're going to start to flip and double size and those kind of things. And very interested to hear what ETE had to tell Tim as well. So thank you, Amy. In reference to E&O, here's where it is, 360. It's on our website under the additional resources tab. So if you scroll down there, click on 360, it's going to take you through the process to enroll for error and omissions. For those of you guys that might be asking or wondering in your head, what the heck is error and omissions? If you go out, say something, do something that you weren't supposed to do, or maybe a client felt like you were misinformed them, or whatever the case is, that's what E&O is for, if you're ever sued, just so you know. My 20 plus years of doing this, I've never been sued. I bet you no one on here has. It's just a safety precaution, just so you have it, just so you know what it is, and just if one of your agents asks you what it is. All right. So let's go through. Anybody have any questions? All right, cool. So what I'm going to do next is go to prosperity. All right. So very quickly, if you guys want this, I can just Slack Amy and I will get these instructions emailed out to you about how to enter the codes in. Okay. But I think most of you guys have been on here before, but if you have any questions, guys, this is a sterile environment. There are no stupid questions. So for time's sake, literally every single step that you're going to take to enter in a code is on here. So all you got to do is follow the instructions. Now, let me give you a quick example. Let's go to 135% on the left-hand portion of the screen. FFL comp, 135. If you're at 135% compensation with FFL, your compensation, if you were to write prosperity, is 120, okay? If you're at 130, your compensation is 115. Now, let's go back to the 135% tier. Where you see years 6.75, that is years 2 through 5. So your client pays all the way through 12 months. They pay that 13th month. You're then going to be paid a renewal at 6.75%. Years 6 through 10, you're going to get 3.75%. Keep in mind, for those of you guys that don't, or maybe haven't heard this or don't know, you're only paid renewal on whole life policies because that's why our compensation is so high. So on term, at the end of that 12th month, it's over. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that before I move forward? All right. I don't want to give you guys redundant information over and over, but I want to make sure everybody understands it. All right. So let's move over to the next tier where it says advanced amount. So where it shows we're in the 135% tier, you can see it's the same all the way down the page. Like most of our other carriers, they're going to pay you a 9-month advance, or what's also known as 75% of the year. So they're going to take your annualized commission, multiply it by 0.75, and then they're going to pay you out, right? But let's say you had a huge sale. Let's say the sale was $5,000. The maximum that they're going to pay you on your first advance is $3,000. Okay, which means you have $2,000 left for them to pay out to you. Here's how this works. Once the client has either reached that $3,000 by, let's say they were paying $500 a month, that means they'd make 6 payments. On that 7th payment, you're going to start receiving a portion of that other $2,000 that they owe you. Does anyone have any questions about that? And by the way, that's how most of the other carriers work anyway. So it's pretty standard for the life insurance industry. Now, some of you, when you go in there to do that, you may see an advance of 3,500. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. If you see that, just click 3,000 because that's the maximum they're going to advance anyway, just so you see that. So if you'll see it, it should click in your head. But you can see down the page, it's 9 months, 3,000 advance. All right, that's how this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Insurance Admin. It's going to take us out to this site. And here's the site, Benchmark Administrators. This is basically the Prosperity site. So I'm going to click Sign In. I'm going to put my username, which is your email, and password in. I'm going to log in here, and then here you go. So this is where all the instructions are. I know I normally flip back and forth, but I'm just going to stay here for time's sake, unless someone has a question. In the top left-hand corner of the screen, you're going to click on that, and then you're going to see invitation codes. I'm going to click on invitation codes, and what's going to come up on the screen when you first go in here, the only thing that's going to be on your screen is this information here, because you haven't generated any codes yet. Okay. So what's going to happen is on the instructions on the other page. So I'm going to show you guys this here, 130, right at the top edge of the screen. You can see, hopefully you guys can see that where it says FFL 130%. So the 130 with FFL is 115 with Prosperity. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, perfect. Am I here by myself? Somebody? Anybody?
Nope, I'm here.
We're here.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, 130. Thanks. 130 FFL is 115 Prosperity. Okay. So when you go in, you're going to generate the code, which I'll show you how to do here in just a second. So 115 New Vista. Don't worry about prime term. We don't sell it. If you go to the next tier, it says advanced 9 months, just as we just discussed. It's at settle, which means you're vested immediately. At settle means they're paying. Vesting means you're vested from day one, which is one of the most beautiful things that I love the most about FFL is you own all of your own business. So 6 months from now, you decide this ain't for you, or you decide you're going to go to another IMO, which I don't know why in the world you do that. All of your business stays with you. So you're truly building an asset here that I don't know if you're working for somebody else or another agency or whatever, you're just not doing that. Where you see the green button there, if you click on that, that's going to give you the link for this particular commission level, which is 115. And if you were to hit the blue button, it's going to take you right to your email with this link in there that your new agent would click on, fill out the information, go through the AML, anti-money laundering, and go from there. All right. So for example, I'm just going to create another one. I'm not actually going to create, I'm just going to walk you through it. So New Vista, I'm going to click that. So again, keep in mind, FFL's 130 is New Vista 115, right? So I'm going to scroll down the page until I see 115, and I'm going to click on that. Now, you'll see it says 115, 6.5, 3.5. If you go to the right, 115 is first year. As we just discussed, year 2 through 5 is 6.5%. And then year 6 through 10 is 3.5%. So they pay you out 10 years as long as that client's on the books. Pretty standard information. All right, then we're just going to click 90%. Don't worry about that. Just put it in that we do not sell prime term. Maybe they do in some other parts of the country, but we don't. You can see at advanced levels or limits, excuse me, you have several options here, but you're going to click 9 months. That's the highest settle amount. And then when you click maximum, some of you guys are going to see a tab for 3,500. Just click 3,000 because that's what the maximum advance we have. And then last but certainly not least, sub-agent is always vested fully. So you can see what some of the options are. Some of our competitors make their guys wait. They're basically taking their renewals, if you will, but you get yours from day one. So again, if this were the 130% with FFL, and this is a reminder so you know how to label this, I'm simply going to put 130%. FFL, 130%. Then I'm going to click generate code. When I click generate code at the top of my screen, that's what it's going to generate that code. And then I just send that out to my new agents as they're coming on.
Corey,
Yes.
when you do the email, the blue button for the email, do they include the link for the AML in that, or is it just going to be the sign up?
It's just going to be the sign up. So here, what I recommend, so I just click the email button. So it knows that I clicked the email button for 120%, okay? What I'm gonna do is enter in that person's email address. And then it's gonna send them that information for 120 and everything else they need to do. That's what the link does. Does that make sense? Let me put it this way. Whether you send the email or you send the link, everything that they need is in there. They don't need to go anyplace else. They're gonna walk through the steps. And once they walk through the steps, it's going to tell them this is what you do next. Now you do the anti-money laundering. It's pretty self-explanatory. Does that help, Renee?
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions, guys, before we move forward? Perfect. Keep in mind, if you guys want this information here, just Slack Amy and I, we're happy to send it to you. But it just takes you through each one of those 7 steps. I highly recommend, doing it now while it's fresh in your mind, because then all you'll have to do, if you bring somebody on and they're going to be at 110, all you got to do is go out there, click the button for 110, send them the email, and then you're done. And just let them know they need to do the anti-money laundering for prosperity. Keep in mind also, if they get it done, once they send all the stuff in, barring some background information, they get everything done. Usually prosperity, they'll have an agent code within about 24 to 48 hours. This is what I've seen pretty consistently. So literally an agent can be writing in a matter of a few days as opposed to waiting for all the carriers, which is nonsense in my opinion. All right, so if nobody else has any prosperity questions, I'm gonna move forward. Going once, twice. Perfect. Amy, anything? Leadership, anything?
Nope.
Perfect. All right, next, let's go ahead and cover Slack very quickly. This won't take us very long. So as you guys are bringing your new people on, please make sure to get them in Slack. I know sometimes we get busy and we do all that other stuff, but please get them on as soon as you possibly can. I do it at 9.5 out of 10. I do it right there on the spot. As soon as we virtually shake hands and they say they're coming on, we go ahead and get them added to Slack. Here's why. Well, first of all, they're going to see good news. Just like, a bunch of people from Worldwide just went out to the conference. That's what it does. I know I've had people say, I'm going to go part-time and do but can you please leave me on? I just love to see the information flow and people doing well and the positivity and all that, which is cool, but you're not a part of the team. You're not a part of the team. It's your choice. But that being said, that's why we do it, to get people added on so they get a part of our culture right away. The only 2 major spots that people really need to be on is Genesis, and not only Genesis, but when they make their sales that they post in the daily booms. Okay. Talk about motivational, right? Seeing people, there's already people that have already made sales this morning, which is great. So just so you guys know that simple way to communicate on here. If you have any questions, reach out to your leadership person. They can help you with this. I'm not going to spend that time right now, but just make sure when you make your sales, you're posting in daily booms and reference to also in Genesis. Just make sure your people are doing that. To add someone, guys, make sure you're inside in the top left-hand corner. You're in the velocity thread. Some of you guys use Slack for other things. I know I do. Scroll to the bottom, hit add teammate. When you go add teammate, you're simply going to either send an email, which is the top option here, or you're going to click share your link down at the bottom and send that information out to them. Everything else should be pretty much self-explanatory. But when I send that out to them, I make sure that they're on and then I welcome them. I've seen some of us, we get people going, we send the stuff out to them on Slack and then we welcome them before they're actually on, and they miss everybody welcoming them to the team. So make sure you get them on. If you have any issues, reach out to Amy and I. We're happy to help. Anybody have any questions about Slack as we move forward? All right. I'll come back and do that later. Okay. So to this point, we've covered work spots, anti-money laundering, boot camp, E&O, Slack, prosperity. We've talked about the commission levels. We've done Assurance Bay. We've covered Web CE. Remember, it's $9 to $15, and that covers everything except for your AML with prosperity, which you'll do through the link. Also with HCMS does not particularly like hyphens or underscores or dashes or anything like that. So just as a quick pro tip, if you have an agent that has that in their email and something's going wrong, that might be the problem. But again, check with us if you need the help there. Let's see. I know we're getting much better with the HCMS. We already talked about that, making sure those things are entered into the system. And if any of you guys, if any of you guys are interested in doing Zip, For those of you guys that have signed up for it, no, you have not been billed. Obviously, you haven't received a bill because we haven't created one yet. I messaged Savannah, Amy, I don't even know if I don't think I even copied you on that. So I'm supposed to talk to her on Friday of this week to make sure that everything's good with that so that we can start posting. There was a minor issue with Zip with them flagging our ads for them being commission based. So want to make sure we have that in order before we do anything else. If you want to run an ad someplace, we'll take care of everything for you. It's $50 a month per location. A location essentially is a city. So just for conversation's sake, Cape Girardeau, St. Louis, Jackson, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, those kind of things. That every city is as $50 a month. So you guys have any questions, reach out to Amy and I will get you taken care of. All right. Last couple things here. If nobody has any questions, we'll go through the process. But we've created a website so you don't have to. In reference to recruiting, it is joinfflgenesis.com. So of course, our website, they can come out here, watch videos, that kinds of stuff. Here's the Rogue IMO video, which you can create your own link, which we'll talk about here in a second. What we provide, term, whole life, universal life annuities. We'll be adding the med subs here after the first of the year, how we do it, compensation. There's videos on our YouTube page about compensation, the virtual sales process, because some people are very, very interested in that. We've got a link right here that takes you right out to the virtual sales process, which I know there was a ton of conversation about that out at launch. And then podcasts, and then join the team. So if you have somebody that you're talking to and you're like, I'm not really sure what to tell them or whatever, you can send them out to this site, or you can send them a link, which I'll show you how to create your link here in a second. All they're going to do is put their name, email, their phone number in the box, and then who's the person that contact or, that recommended them. And once they hit the submit button, it comes in. I will then forward it to you, and then we'll set up an interview with that person. Now, I'm happy to do every single interview that comes through this place. But keep in mind, guys, when you're asking me to do interviews, it shouldn't be just some blind interview where you're going, okay, Corey will do it. You should be on there as well, because at some point you should be learning to do your own interviews. And the more you hear me do it, the simpler it is, because it's not difficult to do an interview at all. But I'm happy to do them, but we should be doing those as a duo. That way we're not just, let me pass you over to this guy. He does the interview and let's ask you what you think. It's your business. I want to help you grow it, but I'm going to do it with you, not for you. Anybody have any questions about the site, how to use it, etc.? Okay, perfect. So to generate your code, you can generate your own code on here. And where I'm at right now is the custom Rogue IMO link. It's on our website under Genesis onboarding process. I'm going to click on that. You put your first name, last name, email, and phone number in and hit submit. It's going to email you a code. Okay. And what that code does is it takes you, when you can send a code to someone. Hopefully I'm not going too quickly, but you can send a code to someone that looks like this. It will have your name, your information, obviously on here. When they click get access, they're going to put their first name or whatever their name is. We'll say Georgia, their email, and then their phone number in. When they hit submit, what it's going to do is you can see my information at the top of this. So it'll have your name, your email address, and then your phone number. So basically your contact information. When they start watching the video, I'm just going to do this for just a second.
Hi, my name is Steven.
So when they start watching the video, what happens is there's an email that is sent out. Let's see if hopefully it comes through pretty quickly. There's an email that will be sent out. It probably happened too quick this time, but an email is actually sent out with all that person's contact information right here. And then you can see that's the information I just put in. So it lets you know that Mr. Jones just from Georgia watched the information. Does anybody have any questions there? All right, you guys are sharp this morning, or tired, one or the other. All right, so let's go back here. Very simple stuff. All right. So that's how you create your own link. So here's the process. You've sent your link to said person. That person says, yes, they want to come on board. They're excited. You're then going to come out here, and after they've watched the video and everything, and you're going to put their information into this, this form. Again, first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, street, city, state, zip, phone number. This is the information that you're going to need from them. Email address, if they're licensed or not. If they're not licensed, they're going to get one email from Amy, which I'm going to discuss here in a second. If they are licensed, they'll get a different email from Amy, which we'll discuss here in a second. Their primary state, their NPN number, what compensation level you're going to bring that new teammate on at, and then your information, your name, your phone number, your email address, and then your current compensation level. When you hit submit, that comes to Amy and I, and then you'll get a copy of it in a clean PDF format that you have so you can save, so you can keep track of your new teammates. All right. Anybody have any questions there? Okay, perfect. Amy, anything you'd add?
Nope, you're doing great.
All right. So we're at the home stretch now, guys. So this is how this will work. So once you get the information in the system and, they decide that they're going to be coming on board, you're going to go through, fill out the form as we just mentioned. Now, if they are not licensed, and that's once Amy gets that information, she's going to send them out an email. It's basically just a standard welcome email. And then what's going to happen is inside that email, it's going to give them the discount code to Excel Solutions. Okay. Let me do this here really quick too. I'm talking about this. So Excel, I know Illinois, there's a couple of other states that do weird stuff, but let's come out here and do this here really quickly. So they're going to come out here, or what I do is I actually walk them through this process as well. Anybody that I bring on, and I just show them here on the screen exactly what they're going to do. That way you're not getting this call later, because you will, trust me. They're simply going to click on enroll now, insurance pre-licensing bundle. They're going to pick their state. So we're just going to say, for conversation's sake, it's Alabama. And then you can see the only thing they need, unless they're going to do it, annuities and some other stuff, or maybe some of the other programs with Mutual of Omaha, only thing they really need to get started is the life, and it shouldn't take them that long to get it done. So Alabama life pre-licensing, they're going to click 199. They're going to click go to cart. And then inside that email that Amy sends out to them, will have all of their information. It will have all the information they need with the discount code. I highly recommend you tell them to copy and paste it and make sure there's no spaces in the front or the back of the code. Once they do that, they're going to click proceed to checkout. It's going to make that dollar amount 0, and then they create a username, password, and then they can start studying. Again, just kind of rule of thumb, give people 2 weeks. If they go out, get outside of 2 weeks, but you need to stay in contact with them as well. If you give them more than 2 weeks, guys, they're just pretty good chance they're not going to come. You guys hear me say that week in and week out. All right. Any questions there? Perfect. So they'll do that. They'll go through the stuff, and then they'll actually go through their, get everything done and go through their testing material. Now, if the person is licensed, the very first part, everything's the same. You're going to have the conversation with them. You're going to send them to the website. They're ready to go. You're going to complete the onboarding form. Once the onboarding form is completed, now Amy's going to send an email out to them, right? First email they're going to get inside that email that Amy has is to HCMS. They're going to complete the information on HCMS. Please tell them to follow the steps. Okay, please. It's going to save you a bunch of time and a bunch of headache. They're going to complete HCMS. Then they're going to get a second email saying that they've completed HCMS. And the third one is going to welcome them to SuranceBay. There's going to be a link. Once they click out there, they're going to go to SuranceBay. We now have the big 3 in SuranceBay: Americo, AIG, Mutual of Omaha. Okay, Americo, AIG, Mutual of Omaha. Now we have the big 3. So to start off with, they're going to have those 3, Americo, AIG, and Mutual of Omaha. And then they're going to have Prosperity, which you sent them separately, which we just covered. Once they've done that in SuranceBay, they're then going to go back to HCMS and apply for the other carriers. So essentially, they're applying for 10 carriers all in the same time. Now, we say this every single week. I know people ask for different carriers and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, you just don't need any more than that unless you're talking about something specialty that you're doing. Okay, so AMAM, the companies they're going to apply for once they go back into HCMS: AMAM, Foresters, Aetna, John Hancock, Great Western, and Transamerica, and then John Hancock. So I think I said that already. AMAM, Foresters, Aetna, John Hancock, Great Western, Transamerica. Those are the other carriers And they're going to see a bunch of other stuff on there on both Insurance Bay and HCMS. Please only have your guys apply for those carriers that I just mentioned. Now, if you have agents in Iowa, Massachusetts, Michigan, Jersey, Rhode Island, or Vermont, there's a carrier called Occidental that is a part of AMAM. Just let us know that you'll have to be licensed separately with them. The last thing that I'll mention before I swing out to Amy or anyone else on leadership, just make sure as best you can, you walk through this process with your people. It just makes it easier. It makes it simpler for them. And then the last thing before I swing to Amy, make sure your guys are going to be entered into the system by Amy for the leads, the CR. When they'll get an email, tell them to check their spam under CMS, and then they'll just go in, create an account, and then they'll be able to order leads through the CRM system. So Amy, for leadership, anything that I missed or you'd add? Nope. Okay. I highly recommend, before I let you guys go, I highly recommend if you have an agent, let's say you live in Missouri and you have an agent in Texas, some states do not require you to have a license in that state to get overrides. I will tell you that list is ever changing. I wouldn't take the chance. If I were you, I would just get the license. Most states are reasonable. You're going to obviously make your money back. It's a write-off. Just go on to NIPR, apply for a non-residence license. You'll be in good shape there. Most of them do not require fingerprints. Most of them, you just go and apply. If you're good standing in your state, you're going to be good standing there. I think I'm up to 28 or 29 licenses at this point. So any questions? Anything anyone has to add? Okay. I appreciate you guys being on. I appreciate you guys, chiming in and helping out for sure. You guys know we're always here. As you guys are starting to bring more people on, I'm happy to help. But those interviews, I just want to let you guys know, should be done with us together. Not, hey, Corey's going to do the interview and let me know what you think. Should be all of us, the three of us under together. The more you hear me do it, it's just a simple process. And there might be something that you want to do different or better. Completely up to you. Leadership, Amy, going once, going twice. All right. Thank you guys for your time.
Good.
I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You guys
Thanks,
too.
Corey. Good
You're
luck,
welcome.
everybody.
Thanks, Corey.
You're welcome.